I guess first, just getting ready for Seattle tomorrow. What stands out with the matchup there, and what do you expect?
Well, they're a very quick team, and they really well structured. So they move quickly because they're very consistent with what they do, and then they move the puck quickly. They got a lot of really good finishing hands, good playmaking team. So a bit of in some ways, they have a skill idea, a little bit like Jersey, but at the same time, they're pretty defensively structured.
We've talked about it a little bit, but I know late in the season, if you have gaps in the schedule, sometime rest becomes the priority. But here early in the year, you haven't had any back-to-backs yet. How important is it to get this extra practice time at this stage of the year?
Yeah, we went real heavy yesterday for where we are. It was closer to a training camp practice, so then came off from here today, go real short the day before games. And now it's not just this game. We're going to get into the road trips coming up, and then our November schedule is very heavy. So just kind of yesterday was the last time you can push your team before you get into an awful lot of games.
Saw Sam Bennett hop off the ice.
Yeah, so he went yesterday. We weren't 100% sure he was going to skate today. Just on that, he went out there. He couldn't get it to loosen up, so he went back off. He'll skate tomorrow morning. We'll make a decision then tomorrow.
So he's a game time decision for tomorrow again?
Correct.
With Niko Mikkola, just in terms of what have you liked from him so far?
Well, he practices the way he plays. He's very engaged. He's got a real high intensity level on the ice. You know, he doesn't sit back and let the play come to him. He forces in a good way. Really good on closing the gap. I think the style of play that he plays fits our team very well. I think he can be real comfortable here. He's far more effective closing gaps, got a long stick. He is physical. He is intense in front of the net. So I've liked how he fits our game.
Have you it seems like he's very free out there, just not in terms of defensively, but in jumping up and
he gets into holes.
Spots.
Yeah, he's would have come into the league as a defensive defenseman. His stats will say that too, but we don't hold any of our defensemen back from getting up the ice. If you think about the Game 5 overtime winner that Cousins scored, that's Radko Gudas in front of the net. So all of the D are encouraged to get up the ice, and then we kind of get around to each one of them based on the decisions they've made to get up the ice, whether we got to pull a guy back or not. But he's been good about when to get in, when to get out.
So Barkov back at practice.
Yep.
What were your impressions of how he looked?
Yeah, he was fine. Like he had no energy, couldn't play the other night, but we weren't worried about it being a week or two thing. I mean, insofar as you can predict the way those things go. But when he came back in today, he felt way better. So he's in, and he looked completely normal to me today.
And Kulikov.
Yeah, he's under the weather too, and that one would be a game time decision. So we'll see how he feels later today.
Would you be okay with Reilly going in?
Yeah. That's the whole point of it. I'm especially with so many new guys in the back end. I've been a little reluctant to pull people out. Confidence is such a big. It's like goaltending for defensemen. You know, you need to be able to have an off night and still be in the lineup the next night. Or I think we put all of these if we're rolling guys. If we had 7 guys that had been here a long time, then I could pull a guy in and out to keep everybody in, and they'd kind of understand that. But with all the new faces here, we haven't changed the pairings very much, except for kind of been a little bit. But we haven't pulled people out of the lineup for the confidence issue, and I don't want to get into that. So if Kulikov doesn't go, Reilly's been practicing, he's been ready. It's his turn.
Does he understand that part of it? I mean, that this
Yeah.
is just the way we're rolling with it.
No, I mean, I would have explained that to him the way and I would have done it a few games ago. You know, after game 2, we lost the first 2 games, and he didn't go into the Jersey game. I would have had that conversation then.
And Bob gets a couple of days off, not playing last game.
Yeah.
Does he go tomorrow?
Yeah, Bob goes tomorrow. And then our November schedule says they're both going to play.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay. We'll give one more. This is going to be a good one. I don't want to put any pressure on you, but
Talking to Uvis Balinskis, I mean, that kind of freedom and that jumping into the rush style has kind of helped him adjust to the European or the American style from the European style. I mean, how have you seen that happen?
well, he has been the surprise for us. Maybe not he was the unknown, right? We get a guy out of he's 27. He's adapted incredibly well from the first week to the second week to the third. The last 2 exhibition games that he played, he was incredibly noticeable. His willingness to get involved in plays and not just sit back and kind of watch the game and play safe. I don't find him overly risky because he's completed almost every play that he's tried to make. He's been but aggressive, and he jumps into holes and he gets down the walls and the forechecks. So there's definitely something there, and he's only 6 games into his NHL career. You don't want to put a ceiling on that, but we know he can generate offense because he has over the course of the career. The game that he plays now tells us that he will eventually be able to generate some offense. But in waiting for that to happen, he's playing a pretty good all-around game.
That's a good question.